All right, everyone. Hey, guys. Welcome. All Diamond VIP members. Those that aren't, you're welcome to. Just listen to this information. I gathered it and was just thinking about it and putting it all together in a conversation, and it just really hit home. All right. So we know that a lot of Americans don't have much cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, and they're really fearful, and they don't understand what to do with it and why it's even important. But then they also have probably read that the American government is eventually, they have their own digital dollar, right? They're going to digitize money. It's happening, right? And so how do you make sense of this thing? Well, I placed in our chat room, that Bitcoin started back in 2008. And if you remember what happened during 2008, I want you to put on your investment brain and think like an investor. Don't think like a fan. Don't think like a consumer, right? Think like an investor. So in 2008, we were excited. If you're African American, whether you're Democrat or Republican, it was a blessing to us to see a black man become president. That was Barack Obama. Then the halving happened in 2012. I'm not into politics, so I'm not going to tell you about your politics, how to vote, anything like that. That's just not my thing. That's not my job. And to be quite frank, I'm not even, I know we got a two-party system, but there's things in both parties that I look at and I'm like, yeah, not so much, right? So I'm really more like an independent voter. So we got that out of the way. But when it comes to cryptocurrency, in 2012, that was the first halving. So what else was going on in 2012? Another political cycle. So in 2012, one cryptocurrency or Bitcoin was hovering somewhere between $12 and $16 per coin. Now, if you could only imagine, man, what if we would have had 1,000 of those boogers? It really wasn't that much money because that's $12,000, right? And where that would put you now, it would be insane. I mean, like, insane, right? Some of us could be potential on our way to billions, right? But let's go ahead and think this through. 2016 was the next cycle for halving, and one Bitcoin was somewhere in that $1,000 range. And I shared with you before, it does fluctuate, but when I shared the deal that happened to us in 2015 at the car dealership, it's very close to that other halving. So this gentleman came in, purchased a bunch of, he gave us 85 of them to purchase his E63. Probably not the move that I would have made, but that's the move that he made. It was roughly about $1,000 back then. And I've played around with the math on that. 84 Bitcoin is what Bernie Moreno received in that one transaction. And so the real reason why Bernie is not in the car business is he's a multi-billionaire just off of what was done in crypto. That's not including the sell-off of his dealerships and everything else, because he had about 17, 18 of them, dealerships at the time, including Aston Martin, a couple of 3 Mercedes-Benz stores. I mean, it was just a lot to sell off. And so 4 years later, that's 2020, and that's when we started our group, and we saw it. We sat and watched the last halving go to incredible gains, to be as low as 7,500 when we began, to shoot up as high as in February of 2021, $63,000. And this was just during COVID, which was a catalyst for cryptocurrency climbing, or Bitcoin climbing so high. But what's more beautiful is what we learned. What we learned is the reason why the altcoins go up is because Bitcoin controls the market. But now we know that every 4 years there's a halving. So this is the 4th halving. And this is due to come out between the middle of March to the middle of April. So we're 1 month away, maybe 2. But I would suspect that in a week or two, you're going to start seeing cryptocurrency climb to some great heights because there's anticipation for what's about to happen. And so in order to be impacted by this anticipation, you have to have some dollars in, even if it's $100. And it's not just put 50 bucks in and go somewhere and sit down. If it were me, I would consistently be putting money in. I would. And honestly, I played around with it enough that I can tell you straight up, you're safe to put money in, even if you're going to need a portion of it at some point, because you can transfer it off pretty easily, especially if you do it in Cash App and it's just Bitcoin. So the XRP, a Coinbase account can be set up pretty easily. You'll get your approvals through your Cash App account. That can be done pretty easily. But your Coinbase is set up directly to your account. And so when I make purchases of XRP, it comes directly from my account, very similar to what I do if I want to make a purchase of Bitcoin in Cash App. So these are very easy to do. Transfer of funds gets done, no problem. I just read an article about XRP and its exchange and how Amex had accepted XRP. And so this is the part of the journey that you really need to pay attention to. As banks begin to accept it even more, it's going to become more of a dominant force as far as cryptocurrencies, right? XRP has been on the market since 2014, has a lot of usage, just got over a case. Everything's good to go. It's rolling, right? So it's time to really make sure that you're doing your due diligence and that you're understanding what's happening and you're understanding the whys as to why this year is very important when it comes to cryptocurrency. Very, very, very important. And I'm not going to get left behind. I just don't want you to get left behind. God bless.